Hey guys, it's Bethany with the Gypsy Bird Makes podcast, and welcome to episode 18. We are in April, and I'm really excited for the spring weather and it getting a little bit warmer, although I don't think it gets that much warmer here in Washington State. I mean, I know it does eventually, but it'll probably be a few weeks. I have a lot to share with you today. I have 2 finished objects. And then I also have 3 works in progress that I am loving, and I'm really excited to share those with you today. I've just been having a lot of fun with them. So we'll be going over that. It is also the first podcast of the month, so we're going to go over my stash update for March. It was a lot. It's a lot to go over, so we will do that. I'm also going to be having a news section. I need your guys' help with some things. So stick around and you'll be leaving hopefully a comment down below to help me out. And then we'll go over life stuff and see what we've been doing the last couple weeks. Today I'm wearing my Gettin Knit Done t-shirt. This is from McKinney Knittery, and I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm going to put it on the screen and it'll be linked down below. But it's a yarn store just outside of Dallas, Texas, and I ordered this on their website and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite wears. So let's go ahead and dive right in with some finished objects. You may have gotten a little sneak peek of the first finished object if you were paying attention in the intro section, but I finished the second Montrealer. So I'm not going to go over a whole bunch about this because I did just make one and it was basically the same as this one. But this is the Montrealer for Kai, and it worked up really, really quickly. I really enjoyed working with this yarn more than Wool of the Andes. You might be like, well, what yarn was it? So let's go over the yarn real fast. This is Knit Picks. Get that. And this is Knit Picks Swish worsted weight. And the main color, the blue, is going to be the Marine Heather, which is this really pretty blue that's right here. And then the main stripe, the light blue stripe, was, get this right, Wonderland Heather. And then the last one, which I actually still have on the ball for once, is, I believe, what is that called? Amethyst Heather. So that is the little accent stripe there. So I really like how this turned out. I did make the adult version. There's an adult and a child's version of this pattern, which is the Montrealer by Designs by Dells. And I went with the adult because my boys are tweens, so they're kind of that in-between size. And I wanted them to be able to wear it for a while, not just like for the next couple of months, even though I really don't know how much they're going to wear them. We'll see. I kind of made my son, my youngest, wear his the other day, and he was fine with it, but it wasn't what he was reaching for. So, I just went with a size 3, and I made some alterations to it. I shortened the body and the pocket here a bit, because if I had done what the pattern said for a full-grown adult, it was going to be down to their knees. So I went ahead and just shortened it a bit. I also shortened this hood. So the hood on the original one that I made, I did not shorten at all, and it was huge. So with this one, I cut out a lot of rows. I did all of the increases, decreases that it tells you to, but in the in-between rows where it was like knit 5 plain rows, or I would do like knit 3 plain rows instead for each one. So it cut out a lot, and it fits a lot better, and it doesn't look ginormous. So that was great for this pattern. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was mostly, if you want to hear a whole bunch about it, like me talk about more in depth of the pattern, you can go to episode 16. I talk about the first one that I made in a lot more detail, and you could get some more information. So also, the other thing that I did different was I did the tubular bind off. You can see there. I really love the tubular bind off, so I did that for the cuffs and also the bottom hem. And what else? I used a US size 6 4mm, and then also a US size 7, which is what the pattern calls for, I believe. And the US 7 is a 4.5mm. This one worked up really fast since I had already knit it just last month. So it was really fast knit for me. And I just kept working on it and working on it, and it was really easy. And the stripes just make it go by so quickly. The grams and yardage that I use, in case you're wanting to make this, again, I did shorten it due to my boys not being men, and it not being needing to be as long, and the hood not needing to be as big. So for the main blue color, I used 423 grams, and then for the light blue accent stripe, I ended up using 95 grams. And the amethyst heather, I only used 13 grams for that one stripe. And I also used that for the provisional cast on at the top. So total, the grams was 531 grams in total, and the yards of that is 1,168.2 yards. And I do have all of the yarn here to show you. And we have a co-host. This is Kit Kat. Oh, yes, pretty kitty. She is our matriarch. She is our oldest cat. She is 11, and we've had her since our youngest was just a baby. You little sweet girl. So this is all that I have left of the blues. So not a whole bunch. And then you can see, you saw earlier how much, a lot left. And these were 50-gram balls. So yeah, I was really excited. I got just the amount that I needed, and I knew how much I was going to need from making the other one. I had one ball too many of the main blue color for the first Montrealer. So I knew exactly how much to order. And after last podcast, I did check the yardage, and they were exactly the same for the wool of the Andes and the Knit Picks Swish worsted. So I was so grateful for that when that happened. But yeah, that was my first finished object for this time. Yeah, I was like, am I showing it the right way? It is. It's just the hood is pulling it down. But it's kind of cute, right? This is a really great make if you're looking for something for one of the men in your lives. Works up really easy because it's worsted, so it goes really quickly. And it's a good make. I think my husband would probably like one of these, but I'm not sure that I want to make a third one right now. So we'll have to wait. My second and last finished object for this podcast are these socks that I ended up making for my dad. So these are just vanilla socks. My dad tends to like the ones that I make for him. And my friend Anne had sent me this yarn, and I wanted to use it, so I decided they would be great for him. And what spurred making him another pair of socks was that I got a message saying, with a picture of a hole in a sock, and saying, these aren't dog proof. And we've learned this from my mother, who has had 2 socks eaten by the dogs. So yeah, I don't even know what to do. So he was like, can you fix them? And I was like, yeah, I can try to fix them. He wanted me at first to send him yarn to fix it. I was like, that is not going to work. So my mom had to send us some mail, and I was like, just put the sock in there and I will try to fix it. So fun fact, this is one of the first pairs of socks that I ever knit. This has been washed multiple times because it's felted. But this sock was made probably, oh, come on, focus, not on Kit Kat. Probably made in early 2020, I think. And it is, you can tell it's like, it's been put through the washer and the dryer, it's felted. But this is where the hole is. I have no idea how I'm going to try to fix this. I'm going to try to mend it. We'll see. I will do my best. It's not going to be pretty, and it's probably not going to be very comfortable since it's right there on the heel, but I'm going to do my best to try to fix that. So, sorry, that was a rabbit hole, but that was the reason why I decided I would just make him some new socks as well, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to fix that or whatever, so that's what these are. It's just a vanilla pattern, and you do 72 stitches, and this yarn, which let me tell you about the yarn, I should have the tag somewhere too. I can't find the tag. I found the tag for the other pair of socks that I'm working on, but maybe I threw this one away when I was winding up the yarn. Who knows? Anyways, let me tell you who it's from instead. So this yarn is from Dragonfly Fibers, and it is in the colorway Spooky, and I will have them linked down below for you if I can, oh, there we go, if I can find it. So, yeah, I did a 2x2 ribbing, and this is a little bit of a heavier yarn. So the skein was actually like 117 grams. Excuse me. And once I got through with the ribbing, I was like, that's a little loose. So I actually decreased by 4 right after the ribbing and went all the way down. And then I did a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. And oh, it keeps going on to Kit Kat. But then when I got through the gusset decreases, I also decreased another 4 stitches, just so it would kind of hug his foot a little more, because it was so big. And I actually ended up using 99 grams, which is like 20 grams more than I normally use for a pair of socks for him. So yeah, it was a little surprising, but I used up almost all of the skein, so I was really happy with that. And I used a US 1 2.25 millimeter on my Magic Loop Chiaogu needles, and yeah, that's all I got for these. But yeah, they will be mailed off to him this week after I try and fix his other sock. And it started to rain, so I'm not sure if you can hear the little pitter patter on the top of the RV, but it is raining outside, which is so nice. I love the rain, love the sun, but it's nice for the rain too. So we're gonna just roll right into whips. I have 3 that I am excited to share with you. I'm gonna start with my least exciting one and build up a little bit because the other 2 are really fun. So I am making some ribbed socks for Bryan. He wanted some more socks, and I was like, did you like the ribbed ones I made you a few months back, or do you just like the vanilla ones? And he said he really liked the ribbed ones, so I'm going to make him some ribbed ones. And this yarn is also from my sweet friend Anne, so I'm excited to be able to use that up and to make him some socks. So this yarn is actually Lorna's, hold on, yeah, Lorna's laces. I don't believe that she is in, let me try to show you again. Come on, focus. There we go. I don't think that she's in business anymore, but I will link the information that I have about her down below. And this colorway is called 1512 Spats. And it's really fun how this is knitting up. So I am doing a ribbed sock. You can see it's got some rib there, some stretch. Let me show you what it looks like in the cake. It's a very pretty yarn. So what I'm doing for this is exactly the same that I did for his last socks, which were mismatched ribbed socks, I think. They were Fangirl Fibers in her Kyler Wren and Han Solo colorways. So this one I did a 1x1 rib for 20 rounds, which is not my favorite, but when I'm doing a rib sock, I think it looks the best. And then I'm doing a 3 knit 1 purl rib for the leg and then top of the foot as well. I plan to do a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset on this one. And yeah, it's just pretty much standard after that. Let me see if I had anything. Yeah, this is basically, I cast this on because I needed a portable project, and I needed my brain's too tired to work on anything else project. So that was this. I am honestly so tired of knitting socks. I think I'm burnt out on socks for a bit. So yeah, I'm just really loving to knit all of the sweaters and all the garments right now. So I'm not loving the socks. Like, I don't really want to pick this up at all, but here we are. And I do need something like if we go in the car or if I'm picking up groceries or anything like that. So that's mostly why I have this. It might linger for a bit, or I could finish it in 2 days. I don't know. But that's the first work in progress, and I am somewhat enjoying it. I'm really excited to share this project with you. I have started my All of the Lights cardigan, which is a pattern by Hoki Locatelli, and I am really, really loving it. Yeah, it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I really was kind of scared when I got the pattern. I looked through it and I was like, that's a lot, like a whole bunch. And it was kind of scary to just read through it and see it, but once I started working the pattern and taking it just one step at a time, it's really doable so far. And the charts and the lace and all of that really isn't that difficult. So yeah, I'm really loving it, and I'm excited to show you what I have done so far. So let's start off with the yarn. I am using Miss Bab's Yowza in Apple Season. So this is the tag. That's how many grams I had. You can see it is a Babbitt, which means it's a repeatable color, I believe. So this is the yarn. This is what it looks like. I have 3 big old skeins of this, and the size needles that I'm using a US 5 and a US 6 needle, I believe. Is that right? I feel like this is bigger than that. Let's see. Nope, that must be it. So I had to go up. It was called for US 4 for the very first part, which goes across the back of the shoulder. And I'm making this with a group of friends in the 11 Stitches membership. And there were a few of the ladies who were a little bit ahead of me. So they'd already done that part. And I asked them, like, how wide is yours? How long is yours? I think specifically how wide it was. And theirs was a little, like, half an inch wider than mine. So I went ahead and ripped that out and redid it on a size 5, and I got a better sizing for that. So I went ahead and did that, and then I went up just to the size 6 for the rest of the body. So do you want to see what I've done? I'm so excited. It's gonna look really funky because I'm at the part where I'm about to join in the round, but this is what I have so far. So you can see it looks like a hot mess at the moment, but it's such a pretty hot mess. So how this works is it's going to go, it's going to go like this and over my shoulders and kind of like that. So yeah, I'm feeling after I'm doing this, I'm supposed to be ready to split for the, like, connected under the sleeves. But now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I'm gonna need to go down some more. I want to talk to my friend Elizabeth, who has made this pattern, and chat with her about the arms and see what I think. Because I'm thinking I might want to go a little farther. I am to where it says for my pattern, for my size to knit to, but I would rather the arms be a little big than too small. So I think that might be what I'm going to be doing, which is going to give me more ends to weave in, but I think overall I'll be more happy with it. So I am making the medium large size. That was the size that I didn't want it too big. I kind of want it just to fit perfect. So that was the size that looked like it was going to do that. But I'm thinking for the arms, I might have to go down a size or go up a size or 2. So I'm going to message my friend Elizabeth and ask her what size she did and how her arms are, and just talk to her about it and see what to do. So I might be adding more length to this, or I'm pretty sure I'm going to be adding more length. But you can see, I just don't see where that's going to work. But you can see the back is starting. You can see where that big cable in the middle, and oh my gosh, I just love this so much. And it is, don't get me wrong, I mean, you have to keep on track of what row you are, because there's like a 16 row chart, and then there's, I think, is it 16, and then like a 12 row chart or something like that, and then there's a 6 row chart. So you have to keep up because they're not always going to be the same. I've loved using my Knit Companion. I have it on my iPad, and I have been using that to, every time I do a row, I use the little pen and I mark it off. And then the next one I'll mark it off. And I use the highlighter to make sure I know exactly what one I'm on. So that has been extremely helpful. I did mess up once though. On, you can't really tell, but on this one right here, this cable, I was marking it off, and then I went through and I realized that I had started marking off on this cable over here instead. So I was like off on the when I was supposed to actually do the cable crossover. If you've never done cables, you're not going to understand what I'm saying, and even if you have, you might not understand because I'm not making much sense. But I was like 2 rows farther than I should have been without cabling. So this one's a little longer, but I think it's going to work out because I'm going to use this side in that I know is right and go by it. So anyways, that is what is going on. But I really, really love this pattern. Oh, he did an amazing job of writing it. It has lots of information. The charts are charted and the charts are written, which I know I said last time, but that is just amazing. I am the one who reads them. I don't see them. Like looking at the charts, I would be a mess. I would have had to go through and write them all down. So having them already written is fabulous and just perfect. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, it's definitely not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I could eat my words, but so far it's been really smooth sailing, and I've really, really, really enjoying it. And I mean, that's a lot of knitting in the last 2 weeks because I did start this since the last podcast, and learning lots of new techniques. Oh, I did bobbles. It's the first time that I have ever done bobbles. So you can see my little bobbles right here. I've never done bubbles before, so I was really excited to do that. That was a new technique. The lace is really pretty. I also love this little texture on the side, which is just so pretty. But yeah, it's a fabulous, fabulous pattern. If you've been thinking about making it and you're scared that you're just not going to be able to do it, because it is not as hard as you think it is. And it's really just take it slow. Make sure that you have a way of keeping track of what row you're on for each chart, and you'll be fine. It's great. I did have a sweet viewer and member of the membership offer to trade colors with me because she has the same color in, I think she got it at 2020 at, I think she said she got it at Rhinebeck, but she had more pink in hers, and I had said how disappointed I was that it wasn't more pink like the picture was. I ultimately decided not to switch with her, but it was so sweet of her to offer that, and thank you so much. One, I was itching to get started, so I was able to start it that day instead. And second, I really liked my swatch. After I looked at my swatch and looked at it for a bit, I was like, I really like how the colors are coming across. And I'm not really a pink girl. So I think that this is going to be better for me and my style. And I think I'll reach for it more because it's not going to be like in your face. It's a pink cardigan. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so grateful for the membership and my friends for starting the make along and giving me the courage and inspiration to start this project, because this is my dream project and it's going to be such a beautiful piece once it's finished. And all of my projects are being housed in my farm every single time. Cottontail. I want to say Farmtail. I don't know why. But they're being housed in my same old bags from Cottontail Farms, which I love. You guys know, but I would just show them again and give her a little love because they are awesome bags. So I have one more work in progress to show you, and there's a little bit of a surprise with it. I have been saying that I wanted to make this project, and I found the yarn that I wanted to use when I went to a yarn store last weekend with a friend, and that kind of really made me jump in and want to make it. So let me get some water for my poor throat. I've done so much talking today. I had a Zoom earlier with the Love and Stitches membership where I was helping teach kind of, or show the buddies who help our new members when they join some things that we're going to be going through. So I talked through all that, and now I'm talking through all of this, and I do not talk this much on a regular basis. So my throat is just like, what is wrong with you? But we're all good now. Okay, so the next project is the Whitmore sweater, and this pattern is by, let me see, Amy Loden, and it is so beautiful. I had this project saved in Ravelry for, I've had it saved for a few, probably like 6 months or more maybe, and then I was also watching Cozy Up Knits, which is a fabulous podcast if you haven't watched them. They are 4 sisters from Canada, and they are hilarious. They podcast like every week, and they also do patterns and make-alongs and all kinds of things. But Jamie, one of the sisters, had made the Whitmore, and every time she wears it, it's just so beautiful. And then also my friend Allison of the Naptime Knitting podcast also made a Whitmore, and hers is in Tiffany Blue from Fangirl Fibers, I think, and it is so pretty. Every time I see theirs, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to make that. So there was some yarn that I had seen down at a local yarn store, and I was thinking about making that. It was a linen, and I was like, that would be good for summer. This is not a summer type tee, but I was thinking I can make it with short sleeves and it would work, and try the linen. But then I saw some much cheaper yarn, and it was actually the right weight of yarn for this pattern, which is a DK weight, and at a store down about an hour from here, south of here. It's called Ewni, EWENI. Super cute store. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I found the yarn that I really wanted, and it was beautiful. But I need 5 skeins for this sweater for the size I'm making, which is a size large. They only have 4 skeins, and I was like, oh, I don't want to buy 4 skeins and then get another one and then it be like a completely different dye lot. So I went ahead and found it online and purchased it there, and it was shipped super fast. I got it within 2 days of purchasing it, and then last night I cast it on. So let me show you the yarn. It is Barocco Vintage Decay. And let me tell you, I would never have picked this yarn to use if I was just shopping online, because it's 52% acrylic. I would have seen that and been like, nope, I don't want to do acrylic. I would be a complete snob and not want to do it at all. But when I felt it in the store, I absolutely loved it. I thought, this is just perfect. It's really squishy, it's soft, it's kind of it looks kind of rustic, and it's just exactly what I was wanting. I'm trying to figure out what I'm stuck on here, but anyways, it's 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. So I think it's gonna be a really great durable wool. I'm not sure, we'll see as I wear it and such, but I definitely, if I hadn't felt it, would not have purchased it with it being acrylic. When I crocheted, all I used was acrylic. I thought wool was so gross and like itchy and blah blah blah. And then when I started knitting and I found all of the hand-dyed stuff, all the beautiful hand-dyed yarn, I went to the other end and was like, I'm not using acrylic, that's so cheap and stupid and blah blah blah. I was just being ridiculous. So after filling this yarn, I may use more acrylic in the future. Still a wool girl, I think, but maybe I should learn not to be such a snob. But this colorway is called, let me find it. It is called 2183, and there's actually, I think it's like, I'll put it on the screen what the actual name is, but you can find it with the colorway 2183. Come on, focus. Are you gonna focus? Kind of see it there, right? Anyways, it'll be on the screen. But it is this beautiful purple color. Oh my gosh. It's a little darker than the screen is showing, but it is so So pretty. Oh my gosh, I love that. So this is what I'm using. And I also have another little surprise for you. I'm full of surprises today. I'm not using Jiaogu needles. What? Who am I even? So I am actually using Lantern Moon. I was on a Zoom the other day, and they were talking about interchangeable sets, and I've been wanting to get an interchangeable set recently, and I've been following Natalie of Nitty Natty, and she's has these needles, and she also I think had some Jiaogu needles, and I'm a Jiaogu girl. I love them. I also love the needles. I love the cable, like everything about them. I've been a fan since I got my first S1 knitting needles from them. But I really wanted something that was going to be a good interchangeable set to use. So I was convinced when I heard Natalie talking on a Zoom about how she was asking questions to someone who was asking her about them, and she was like, yeah, if you like Jiaogu, their cords, you're going to really like Lantern Moon and this and that. And when she said that if you like the Jiaogu cords, you would like Lantern Moon, I was like, oh, I think that's me. I think that's what I really want. So I went ahead and ordered the interchangeable set, which I'll talk about in acquisitions. But yeah, I got them, and I wanted to cast on and swatch this project with those needles. It was really, I got them from Amazon. I literally ordered them at like 11 p.m. at night, and they had been delivered by 1 p.m. the next day, which was amazing. They were in stock really close by one of the warehouses, I guess. So it was really neat to literally get it less than like 15 hours after I ordered. So I went ahead and I'm using those, and I literally just cast this on last night. So I don't have it's really, the lighting is really weird, isn't it? I feel like I look cartoony. Oh, you're not even doing anything. Do I look cartoony? I feel like I do. Better? Maybe. Sorry, getting distracted. But anyways, this is what I currently have. So I'm literally on the 4th row. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so excited to be making this. It's something I've wanted to make for a while. So I'm excited. Yeah, and these are you can see these are the Lantern Moon interchangeable needles. And then these are my stitch stoppers from Fox and Pine. And I have this beautiful little progress keeper from Block and Lou. And everybody will be linked down below. And I have used every single stitch marker, I guess is what these are called. Hello. Come on. There we go. That I own between this pattern and all of the Lights patterns. I don't think I have any more. There are all, so many of them. So I started this last night while we were watching Picard. Really am enjoying it so far. I'm excited to hopefully get to knit on it a little bit more tonight. What else was I going to say? I think that's basically everything. I started it last night, like I said, and yeah, I'm really excited to watch this grow. I figure once I get past the lace, it's just stockinette, and it's going to be mindless, at the end of the day when I don't feel like working on all of the lights anymore. I can work on this one. I just have to get to that part, so we'll see. But yeah, it's really fun. And who am I? I have 2 sweaters on the needles, and one's not even Jiaogu, and it's part acrylic. Like, I feel like I'm an imposter, but yeah, hopefully next time I wouldn't be surprised if this is a finished object, but not guaranteed, but it could be. And I'm not sure about the sleeves, so I'm doing the size large, which is not giving me as much ease as the pattern calls for. It's going to give me like 2 to 3 inches of ease instead of the 5 that the pattern calls for. So I'm thinking I might not have enough yarn, because I think it was like 5 and a bit that I needed of skeins. And I can always order more, and then I'm back to that. You might get a random skein. But I was also thinking of possibly making the sleeves short. sleeves instead of long sleeves. So I'm just gonna wait until I get to that point to decide and figure out what I'm feeling then. So we'll see. But it's a beautiful pattern, and so far it's been very well written, and it also has charts and written instructions, which is amazing. So yeah, if you are one of those who also needs the written charts, this is a pattern for you too, and I will keep you updated on how it goes. So I'm going to combine future makes and acquisitions together because I don't have that many future makes that I want to do. The cat's trying to get in the chair and she almost pulled it over. I don't have that many future makes to chat about, so I thought I'll just do this all together. So since we're chatting about it, let's just do that. So I know I keep saying the rad vent and the pour yarn that I have bought to do the rad vent are still sitting there, and I actually have a different option for possibly the rad vent, so I'll talk about that in acquisitions, but that's still on the want to make list. I'd like to break Bryan a pullover. I'd like to get some really nice yarn and just make it just for him, just to have something nice and make. I have no patterns at all in mind. I think fingering or DK is probably the weight that I would like to do it with. But yeah, we will see. I'm not sure. That's just something that's popped in my head, so that might be on the horizon. Right now I know I have all of the Lites cardigan and the Whitmore cardigan on the needles, and those are going to take me a minute, so it's going to be, I might have completely changed my mind by the time I'm done with the Whitmore at least, so we'll see. And then another one that has been creeping in on me and really keeps like showing me that it's beautiful is the Bubble cardigan by Stephen West. It's so pretty. So I really don't like the ones that Steven has on his page. Like the main product pictures, they're not my jam. I don't really like them. And I think that's why I've always discarded that pattern and kind of been like, yeah, that's cool. It's Steven. You know, it's just wild and crazy. But I have seen two really, really beautiful makes of it. And I love how big and like cozy it is. And I just really want a sweater or a cardigan that's big and cozy like that. Most of the ones I have are more form-fitting or more that I wear out. So I think this would be like a lounge around type. And I would like to pull from my stash, but I don't know if I would have enough colors for that. But there are two particular ones from people, some beautiful ladies in the membership have made, and I'm going to share those with you here. So my friend, well actually I don't know if I have Allison's, I might be able to find a photo. My friend Allison, again of the Naptime Knitting podcast, she has made a beautiful one, and hers is out of Moonglow Yarn Co.'s colors. And it's just stunning, and she wears it all the time, especially in her podcast, and she talks about how it's like one of her favorite makes. So I really love hers, and I love how that looked and how pretty it is. I think I just love her colors. And then also, let's see, Becca she is Maury Witch on Ravelry, and I'll have their project page linked down below for you. She is in the process of knitting one, and her colors are so pretty. And yeah, she's the one who I'm kind of like, oh, she keeps posting in the like whip channel on our Discord, and it is just so pretty, and every time I see it I want to make it. So I might play around with working on that and making one. I want to play around with like the colors that I have in my stash and see if I have anything that I could make with those that I have, and if I could like find any to put in with there. So that is one that I am considering for the future. We will see. So let's move on to my mini purchases. Not really. I don't have too terribly many. No, not too terrible. So I told you last time that I had ordered some yarn from my friend Natalie of Flush Yarns, and it came in. Oh my gosh, does this not scream me? This is the prettiest. I think this is some of the prettiest yarn I have ever seen. It is gorgeous. I still can't decide if I want to do a helical like boxy with this and some of her other yarn that I have, or if I want to do a summer top with these. So I am going to like savor this and just, oh, it's so pretty. I just love looking at it. It is literally so pretty. Is it not the prettiest thing you've ever seen? Or maybe I should just like buy another one of these skeins and make something just a boxy. Could you imagine a boxy out of this? Just this? Oh, I don't know, but I really, really love this color. It's like, it's me. Totally me. So that was the first thing that came in. That was my purchase. And then I also, it's right next to the microphone, I'm sorry. Also got these from Barocco. I ordered these from, I have the, here we go. It is from a Mother of Pearl yarn shop. And they are in, I believe, yeah, they're in Freeport, Maine. So I ordered from them and they had this in stock. They shipped super, super fast, were super sweet. And the way I found this is I looked this up on Ravelry, and it showed me stores that actually carried it and had it for sale. So I just clicked on the store and it went right to them. So I was really excited that they had this, and I could get it and I could cast on a Whitmore. So that is that one. That was another one. And while I was shopping around their store, I saw this cute little tape measure. So it's just a cute one. They had 3 different options, and I had requested the purple, but they didn't have the purple in stock. So I got the gray one, which was perfectly fine with me because I love gray too, obviously. So I got that. You can never have too many, and I've been trying to look for cute ones and not just the, like, you know, standard ones you get off Amazon. So I got those. The next thing is I went down to UNI, which is a store just south of Olympia, Washington. I'm trying to think of what state I was in. And I met up with my friend Katie, and we had a great time. And while I was there, that's where I originally saw the Barocco yarn. But I found they had Life in the Long Grass, and you guys know I love that. So I got this beautiful color. There were a couple other colors there that I was thinking of getting, but I was good, and I just got this one. So this one is called Mountain Path. There we go. And this is their twist sock. So it's dyed in Ireland. I believe it's Ireland. Let me double check so I don't say the wrong thing. Yes, the Irish countryside. So that makes me love them even more. And I have used their yarn a couple different times before and really like it. So when I see them and like Emma's yarn, they're kind of some that I am just drawn to. And I got a solid color. This is actually, sorry, the dog just kicked you. This is one, I actually got this thinking that I might use it for my rad vent instead of that Miss Babs that I got last time. But I don't know if this would be too close to the other colors and not quite neutral enough. I don't know. I need to lay it all out and figure it out when I'm ready to do that. But I have this just in case. And if not, it could be something for a bubble cardigan or who knows. It also goes extremely well with these. Doesn't those go pretty? I actually came home from the yarn store and these were waiting on me. So it was a really great day. But yeah, those are my yarn purchases. Then my sweet, sweet friend Stephanie surprised me with a package. I went to get the mail and there was an extra package and I was like, did I order something? I don't remember ordering anything. Normally I stock my packages, like really stock them and know exactly where they are all the time because I'm so excited to get them. But she had, I'm not sure if they were these exact same ones or similar, but she had these stitch stoppers in a photo that she sent me of a project. And I was like, oh my gosh, those are so cute. Where did you get them from? And she told me. And then a few days later, these showed up in my mailbox. They're little Grow Goose stitch stoppers. Are they not the cutest? I don't have off the top of my head who it was from. I should have, though, shouldn't I? I will double check and try to put it down below for you. But she also sent this cute, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's got like a claw on it. The dog's moving you again. But it's super cute. Thank you, Stephanie. I love these. I'm going to be putting these on my All of the Lights cardigan. So I'm excited to use those. And then there's more. So the very last thing I got was my Lantern Moon set. So I had been thinking about wanting a interchangeable set. Like, I've never had one. I've always used the fix, but I found recently that I've had to buy other ones, or I don't know. I just wanted an interchangeable set. I had the Chiaogu like mini set, the blue cord one before, and I ended up reselling those because I didn't really use them. Didn't really like them that much. I don't know. I just wasn't getting much use out of them. And I think one thing I really didn't like about those was how tiny the needles were. Because they were like this big. And I like a substantial size needle. So after listening to Natalie chat about the set that she had, I decided I would go ahead and order that same set. So this is the... Oh, I'm going to forget... Where is it at? I had the paperwork for this somewhere. I would lose my head if it weren't attached. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Yes, here we go. This is the Legacy set. So glad I'm organized, huh, guys? So this is the Lantern or Legacy set. They have several different sets of different sizes, like a full set. This is technically like a half set, I think. So this has size needles in 3, 5, 6, 7. Is that it? And does it go to 8? And 8. And 8. So you can see them. I am using my 5s right now. This is what it looks like on the inside. They are ebony needles, which I'm normally not a wood girl, and I was kind of like, I don't know. But this is kind of what they look like. And the cord is really nice. It is just like the Chiaogu cords, but not red. It's a silver color, and they are so great. Like, they twist all over and are just fabulous. I believe mine swivel. I think you can get both, but this is the swivel one. I've only used it like 2 nights, so just for a few hours, but so far I'm liking them. It's weird with the wood needles, since I'm so used to the metal needles. I haven't probably used wood needles in, I don't know, like 3 years. So getting used to that has been a little weird. I also feel like I can bend my size 1 sock needles when I'm knitting socks. Like, there will be one that you can tell that I have bent from going so hard into it. So I worry about the wood needles a little bit, just because I don't want to break them, and I also don't want to like chip them by going in. I don't know. I'm being too over cautious with it, I think. But so far, I really liked them. I'm gonna finish this project, and if I continue to like them, I plan to get some more cords for it, and then also the size 4 needles, because the set doesn't come with a size 4. Don't know if, I know that they're an Asian company, so that might do something with the number 4 not being a good number type thing, or they just didn't see that it was needed, but I'm pretty sure I will need a 4. So I have used the size 3 and now the size 5s, and they've worked really well. I feel like my tension might be a little different, but I also have, I'll talk about, I have an injury, which is also affecting my tension. So I don't know if it's the needles or if it's the thumb or a combination of both, but I feel like I might be knitting just a little differently with them, which is fine. That's why I wanted to swatch with these needles and use them in this project to figure it out. So that is that. So yeah, I think that's everything for that. So let's chat news. So I have had several different occasions where I've gotten a complaint, or I've gotten a nasty comment, or just some kind of comment about the name that I have chosen for my channel, which is the Gypsy Bird Makes. And it is about the Gypsy. So, I have had several different occasions where I've gotten a complaint, or I've gotten a nasty comment, or just some kind of comment about the name that I have chosen for my channel, which is the Gypsy Bird Makes. And it is about the Gypsy. So, I have had several different occasions where I've gotten a complaint, or I've gotten a nasty comment about the name that I have chosen for my channel, which is the Gypsy Bird Makes. And it is about the Gypsy. it was used, or I guess can be used, as a slur towards Romanian immigrants and such, especially back in World War II, which was not something that I was aware of. I knew that they were called gypsies in a term meaning that they moved around a lot, and that they didn't trust people, didn't trust them because they moved so much, and things like that. But I didn't realize that it was actually like a slur, like the Nazis kind of used it type of thing. And I've had people ask me to remove my link to the podcast because it was offensive and things like that. And to me, I've never seen it as an offensive term. I've never, I guess, experienced that. I don't know if that's just because I'm an American and it's not a term that is used here in a bad way. But with that, I love the name, because to me a gypsy is someone who moves around in their traveling home and is a free spirit, basically. And I feel like that is who I am and who, I belong to, like the group that I would belong to. I have always thought of being a gypsy as a fun thing. I've always loved that. But I understand now that it is not something that the whole world sees as that, and I don't want to inadvertently offend anyone or feel scared to post my link somewhere and have a negative reaction towards it, because that's not my intent, and that's not how I want me and my knitting and things to be portrayed as, or thought of, or to be insensitive to any one who would be affected by that. So with that being said, I'm going to need a new name. And I have no idea what I want to do with that name. So this is where I would love your help, your suggestions. If you have any suggestions of names for me, that would be amazing. I thought I would wait until the May podcast, the first one in May, to make the switch. That way I have a couple of podcasts of me explaining why the name is changing and all of that, and kind of transitioning over to whatever my new name may be, and give me time to get those graphics together and things like that. So I will be changing my name. I have no idea what it's going to be. So if you have suggestions, again, let me know, because I'm struggling. But yeah, that is kind of the news and my thoughts behind it. And I do apologize to anyone if the name has been offensive, because it was no intention whatsoever. And I would never want to do that. I want to use my name in a positive way, and I want to be able to shine God's light through that. And I feel like I won't be able to possibly do that if it's a name that is offensive to anyone. So that is my thinking on it, and I hope that you will be understanding and patient with me as I go through this change in the process of it. It is now time to go over my yarn stash stats and kind of update you on how I did this past month. There was a lot of yarn coming in, but I was surprised at how much yarn I actually used this month as well. If you're new around here, I am going through 2023 and checking to see exactly how many grams and yards I use each month, and keep track of my yarn stash and how it ebbs and flows, and mostly is growing, if we're being honest. But I've been doing this throughout the year, and I'm excited to share that progress with you. A quick overview is I am counting only my 100 gram skeins, so those are the mostly hand-dyed skeins, and if I use them in project, I take them out of my stash for that project, but the yardage and grams don't get totaled until that project is finished. That way I know exactly how many grams I used and how many yards, because I do have a little scale that I'm using that is giving me the exact grams of how much I use. So let's start off with how many projects I finished in March. I have my computer right here so that I can pull up everything. So I really hadn't been doing how many projects I finished each month, but I was looking through and I was like, that's kind of fun to do too. So I'm going to keep that and go through that real fast. So let's say January and February, I had 6 finished objects each, which 6 is pretty good because some of them are sweaters and some of them are socks and things like that. Then in March, I had 7 finished objects. So I finished 1 more project last month than I had the previous ones. I made, did I write down? Yes, I did. I finished in March 2 sweaters, 1 pair of socks, 3 pairs of mittens, 1 sock or 1 cowl, and 1 hat. So, wait, it says now that I have 8 finished. Why does it say 8? That should be 8. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's 8 finished. So ignore the 7 that I put there. We'll just switch that. So there were 8 finished objects in the month of March. Yeah, that's really fun. I love that I finished 8. This time I only had 2 finished objects, so I don't feel like I finished that much. But again, last podcast I had a whole bunch, so I guess that evens out. So at the beginning with my actual stash, which is all of the 100 gram skeins or higher, like if I have one that's 200 grams, I'm counting that as one as well. So at the beginning of March, I had 67 skeins, and used in projects this month were 13 skeins. That's a lot. It really has a lot to do with making my something cozy sweater, which had 3 skeins of DK and 2 mohair. So that was 5 right there. That was a whole bunch. And then I made quite a few little projects like mittens for the boys or finger gloves for the boys and things like that. So that took a lot out, which was really exciting. But then I also purchased quite a bit. So I used 13 skeins and I brought in 17. So, I added 4 overall, which isn't horrible. I am already using quite a few of these that I have brought in. So within that coming in was the yarn for my Something Cozy, is the yarn for my all of the lights, and also for my Whitmore. So there's only about, there's only about 3 or 4 that actually are going into stash. I guess there's 4 probably. That probably makes sense, right? So yes, so ending the month in April, I have 71 skeins, which is just ticking up, isn't it? Maybe there'll be a month where I don't buy anything. That would be good, wouldn't it? So gram wise, how many I used all month, and then how many yards I used all month. I am using, if the project is finished in the month, that is when I count the yards and the grams. So January grams, I had 376, which is, I thought, hey, that's pretty good. Then in February, I had 1,573 grams that I used. That was a lot. And in March, this past month, I used 1,340 grams. That's a lot. That's pretty cool. And I will give all credit to the 2 sweaters that I finished, which was the Something Cozy, which used 2 yarns together. And then also this Montrealer used up a whole bunch as well. And then yards for January, I had 1,483 yards. In February, I used 3,980 yards. And in March, I used 4,081 yards. That's so crazy. I am just loving that. I'm loving keeping track of it, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the process and following along with me. If you guys have your stats that you want to share down below for each month when I do my stash update, I'd love to read those and see them. I think it's so fun, and it kind of it gives you encouragement to see how much you are doing, because you could think, oh, I didn't finish anything this month. That's how I felt. And then look at all that I finished. Yeah, it's really crazy, and I think it's really encouraging. So those are all of my stats and updates for March. So let's do some life talk, some chit chat. Yeah, we had a good couple of weeks. We got out and we did a little bit. Last time I had said how I had not been feeling well, and then my husband caught what I had, whatever it was. He caught it, and then he didn't feel well for a week. So that first week we really didn't get anything done because he was not feeling good and his sleep schedule was all over the place like mine was. So hopefully next time he is off in a few days, he'll be back to feeling a little more normal and we'll be able to do a bit more. But we did go out to Fox Island, which is about 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from us. And we explored the little beach there. All of the water around the Tacoma area is saltwater. So we got to see, there were crab, there were little fish swimming around. There was the anemones for everywhere because we went when the tide was far out. We saw some starfish. We saw some sand dollars. What else? We saw something else. We saw all kinds of weird little critters, and it was really fun. It was a really pretty place. It was somewhere that Bryan had found. So we drove there, and then after that we drove down to the Narrows. I think it's called Narrows Park. And that was really fun. We walked all the way down to under the bridges, the Narrows twin bridges that they have. And Bryan walked underneath all the way. I didn't walk quite that far because the boys were playing with some crabs that they had found and I wanted to keep an eye on them. So they really enjoyed that because they kept finding all the crabs everywhere. Felicity kept finding all the seashells and all the rocks that she wanted to keep. So her pockets were very full. The boys were finding sticks and things like that. So that was really fun to get out and go do that. And then we went over and ate at Duke's, which is a local chain restaurant which has delicious seafood. And we sat out on the deck, which it's actually out on a pier. So we sat out on the deck pier of the restaurant, and they had the heated lamps going, and I thought it was really warm and nice, and I was exhausted by that point because we walked way more than I anticipated. But it was a really fun day, and we had lots of fun going around and exploring and seeing new things. And we found out that we are going to be extending here in the Tacoma area. So we will be staying until mid-August. We're really excited to be staying in the same area for longer than 3 months. Last year we had no opportunity to extend at any of the places that we were, so having that opportunity now is really exciting because before last year we always extended. It was never it was almost rare, really really rare for us not to extend. So being able to stay somewhere for 6 months, and now we don't have to rush to do Mount St. Helens or Mount Rainier. We can wait till all the snow melts and do it in summer, and not feel like we're rushed and won't be able to see everything that we want to see. So we're excited about that. We also get to stay at the same campground that we are currently at. However, we do have to move spots a few times. So the first move is actually coming up on Friday. We will just be moving 4 spots down, but someone had booked this spot long before we were booking in here. So we are moving 4 spots. We will be there for a month, then we move to another spot, and then a month later we move to another spot, and then we'll be there until the end of August or the middle of August. So it's a lot of moving. We've never actually had to move spots before, but I don't think it'll be that big of a hassle. But if you're thinking about us on Friday, give us a quick prayer that everything goes smoothly. It should go smoothly. We're literally hooking up and driving and then backing up, so God willing it will go well. But we're really happy to be able to do that. We're going to get to see a Washington summer, which we're excited about, and there's a lot more exploring of things that we want to do, so we don't have to pack that into the next like 6 weeks or a month or so. So we're happy about that. My finger. So you'll see I have a nice little bandage on my finger here, and I will not show you what is underneath because I cut the tip of my finger off. Yeah, it was a fun day. The other day, we went to IKEA, which is one of the things I was going to talk about. We had a lot of fun. We went to the mall, went to IKEA. I love IKEA. I get all the things from there. We got the boys a new mattress and all kinds of different things. But we got a new knife because the knives that we have that I cut potatoes with, paring knife, I think, are like 2 years old and definitely needed a new one. And the last time we got this new knife 2 years ago, I sliced my finger open really bad opening the package. So this time I was really careful getting it out of the package. I washed it, got everything done, was peeling potatoes, and I was like, the second to last or so potato that I was cutting, it just slipped and went bam. And I was like, the second it happened, I just knew it was bad. It was like one of those split second things, you know, where you're just like, oh, if I can only take that back. But no, I couldn't. So literally there was, on the blade of the knife, there was the top of my finger. It was fun. So it bled and bled and bled, and I woke Bryan up, and it had been an hour, and I was like, it's not stopping bleeding, and he was like, you really need to go to like urgent care. And I was like, no, I don't want to go to urgent care. For one, I will have a panic attack if I go to urgent care. I can't help it. It's just what's gonna happen. And then they freak out, and because my heart rate's so high, and it's a whole ordeal. I hate going to the doctor. I used to be fine with it until a long story. I'm not even going to go into that. But I was like, no, I do not want to go. What will they do? They won't do anything. But he's like, they'll make it stop bleeding. So he ran to Rite Aid, I think, and got me like some stuff to put on it to make it stop bleeding. So it finally, that stuff worked, and I didn't have to go anywhere, and I'm just keeping it clean and keeping it covered for the most part. And yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I think I cut all the the nerves off, so I can't really feel it. But I'm gonna have a crater in my finger for a while, and pretty sure I don't have a fingerprint on that part of my thumb anymore. So yeah, that's fun. So that is why knitting with the new needles, I actually ordered those needles the same day because I was like, this is a bad day and I need something to make me feel better. So I messaged Bryan, was like, hey, do you mind if I order? I sent him the link and was like, do you mind if I order these? And he was like, oh no, you deserve it. And I was like, I don't know about that, but it's gonna make me feel better. So I got, they came the next day after I did it, and then I was sitting there trying to knit with like this huge bandage on my, yeah, I was a mess, but I'll be fine. I've done, well, maybe not worse, but I've done almost the same before, so we'll be good. We tried to go to the zoo this past week, and they were closed. What? Bless you. Excuse you. They were closed, so it was like their last week of winter hours, of course, and it was a Tuesday, Wednesday that we were able to go, and they were closed those days. So we're going to try again maybe this week, although it looks like it's supposed to rain all week. But we'll see. We're going to try to do that, but we were bummed that it was closed. Like, what zoo is closed? I've never heard of that before, but it kind of makes sense if no one's there. What else? We've been doing lots and lots of chores, although my house doesn't look like it at all. I'm quite frustrated at the moment because it feels like I just clean and do stuff and it never changes. And I'm sure a lot of you moms out there know what that feels like, but I'm just kind of in a rut, and I just blah. Just feel blah about it at the moment. I need something to change. Like, I want to get like a new table, or I don't know. I just feel like I need some sort of little change that'll make a big difference, kind of. Anyways, we'll see. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, yes, there was one more thing. So I mentioned that I went down to UNI, which is a fun little yarn shop. It was so cute. They had so much yarn and it was beautiful. There was quite a few skeins that I had to put back and not purchase. But I met up with my friend Katie, who I'll have her Instagram linked down below. She does a lot of tutorials and a lot of she's really active on her Instagram, so you'll absolutely love it. She doesn't have a YouTube and she doesn't really do podcasts, so check her out on Instagram. But I met up with her and we shopped, and then we took a little walk around downtown, and then we came back to the yarn shop and sat and knit for a little while. And we had this sweet little old lady come over and just sit down and chat with us, and it was just really fun and so cute. So we enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun to go down there for the day and just have a fun little knitting date. And next week I'm going to be meeting up with another viewer here in the Gig Harbor area, so I'm looking forward to that. And if you are in the Tacoma, Seattle area and you ever want to meet up, just send me a message. I'm always up for meeting new people and having a fun knit date. Yeah, so that'll be fun. So what have we been watching? Honestly, Bryan and I haven't watched anything together because his sleep schedule he's been going to sleep really early and then waking up and not being able to sleep later, and it's just been, I don't know, I think it was some virus or something that's gotten our sleep all messed up, because I was like that and now he's like that, so I don't know. But we did finish watching Boba Fett and The Mandalorian with the kids, and we are all caught up on Mando right now, which is awesome. Really enjoying all of the Mandalorian this season, and we have now moved on to Obi-Wan. We have watched 2 episodes, and I just love that because I love Obi-Wan, and I love Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. They're my Star Wars people, like my Star Wars guys, so I love rewatching that with the kids. And my kids are now full on Star Wars obsessed. Everything that comes out of their mouth is Star Wars, basically. Yeah, it's really makes my mama heart so proud. But then I watched a few things on my own. So I watched the latest season of The Crown, which I had not seen yet. I think it came out back in a few months ago at least now. So I watched that. It was really good. It makes me wonder how much is actually like real. Like, I know it's based on real events, but how much is actually accurate, because it's also TV. And then I watched the latest season of Outer Banks. It's not my favorite show, but I've seen the other seasons and I feel invested, so I watched it. It is what it is. I have many issues with things on it, but anyways, it was a good watch, and I overall enjoyed it. And then also I just finished The Night Agent, which I think is pretty huge on Netflix right now. I had seen the preview for it and thought I might give that a try, and then someone in our membership actually suggested watching it because it was so good, so I went ahead and watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I told Bryan that he might actually like that, and I would watch it again with him. So if I'll watch it again, it means it was pretty good. Also, I have been watching Call the Midwife. The new season is on PBS, and I just love it so much. It is such a brilliant show. I've already cried watching it this season, so it's just how it is. I love it so much. And what was the other thing? There was another show, but I can't remember it right now. So that's what I have been watching. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up because I've been chatting a long time. It is still light outside, though. I would like to mention that I am loving that it's still light outside and not dark yet. This makes me so happy. If you have any questions for me, I'm going to be answering questions in the next podcast. So you can leave them down below for me, or I'll put a little question box on Instagram like the day before I film next time. But yeah, you can ask anything from I'm not sure if I would be very good at answering knitting questions, but I can try because I'm not an expert. But you can ask silly questions. Like I had the question of what my favorite Chick-fil-A order is. Like I love those type of questions, and I think it's fun. You can ask, like I was asked how I met my husband and things like that. So just feel free if you have any questions about me, my knitting, my life, my zoo. He's laying down on the yarn. Oh my gosh, do you see him? Are you comfy on the yarn, Stormy? Comfy? Oh my gosh, he's a mess. But yeah, go ahead and you can ask away. I'll be happy to answer those. And I hope that you guys have a fun April. I know a lot of people are having spring break, so if you are on spring break or your kids are on spring break, I hope you have a great time and have lots of fun. And I will talk to you next time. Bye. So I need some help, so stick around for that. And then we'll chat about finished objects. Lord have mercy. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to combine, the thing because I can't talk. Once, and I'm planning to continue throughout the 2023 year. And I'm really excited to redo this because it hasn't worked